What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nati with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. I got the whole group here, the whole DMV Sports Zone team, great content creators that are on this channel, Abdullah, Evan, and Noah. And we're here to recap the Washington football team's loss against the Dallas Cowboys. And it was an interesting game, right? It was a blowout for most of it. Then it started getting close at the end. The team showed some fight, as the title of this video says. What are you guys' thoughts? We'll go around clockwise. So Abdullah, right now.
Man, this whole week it was all about we won Dallas, and then coming in, Mike McCarthy saying that it's a guaranteed win, and then like today, Jerry Jones brings in his own benches to FedEx Field. I don't know, man. So, like this team, like they just like the first half, they just didn't look like they wanted to play football. It was unbelievable. Like I understand we're thin at some positions, but show some fight,
Especially
and they
right
did
now.
that. And then at the end of the fourth quarter and the beginning of the third, but I don't know, man. This team, I really want us to beat Dallas because none of us can stand Dallas as a fan base. So,
bro, you know what my so I did the live stream right before the game, and my prediction. So two of the Rep the District content creators were on, Trev and Stoner, and they both predicted a loss. And I was like, I can't. I mean, no matter how, even if the Dallas Cowboys were 11-2 and Washington was like 2-11, I cannot predict a Cowboys win against Washington. I just can't. I can't. Like I would feel disgusting. I would have to take a shower afterwards. I could not do that. Never predicted a Washington win. I just said I could not predict a Dallas win against Washington. But that's besides the point. Evan, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, the Cowboys were a better team today. And looking back on it, wasn't really that the Cowboys beat Washington. It's just Washington beat themselves. Like, with all the turnovers and the miscues and the injuries. Can't forget about them injuries. But I remember, like, because I actually didn't see most of this game because, like, I was somewhere else at the time. But I saw the score at halftime, 24-0, and I'm thinking, does this rivalry even mean anything to this team? In the last half of the fourth quarter, they showed that obviously it does because like they put together like a solid fight. Wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. But honestly, the way I see it, if we could get a couple people healthy this week and then see if we could carry that momentum we built up in the fourth quarter to Philly, then we still looking good. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if San Francisco loses today, Washington still has the 6th seed. So it's like no harm, no foul on that front.
Yep.
But that being said, losing to the Cowboys will never not hurt, dog. Losing to the Cowboys will never not be painful.
Yeah. Agreed. Noah?
Yeah, I think the game, I think there is a lot of concern because it shows how I think mainly our offensive play calling is atrocious. Because one thing about the schedule is when you play a divisional rival, they know your game plan really well. So a good coaching staff and a good team is able to come up with a lot of creativity. And frankly, they just underutilized Gibson. I feel like the entire season they have been messing around with letting him play injured. He's got that shin problem, finally healthy. He has the talent to be an elite running back, yet they waste him constantly being a north and south runner. He is not a north and south runner.
And even
took him to the outside, he's in the receiving game.
He was limping today.
Yeah, and then Scary Terry gets absolutely shut down. I mean, 4 targets, no receptions. Our depth had to step up, and it kind of shows you how our especially on the receiver side, we need depth. I know we brought in Samuel, but he's been a disaster so far with injuries. Our top 2 receivers is Adam Humphries and Cam Sims, which I love Sims, but Humphries is a Walmart Renfro, so it's a tough to win games. You can't put it on Heineke to really make those type of plays because the play calling is bad enough, and then the locker room around him isn't that great either. So it's an expectation. Hopefully we can make the playoffs. Like I said, no harm, no foul. If the Niners lose, but a greater concern is that the coaching staff needs to be held accountable. The play calling was atrocious. The only reason we kind of went towards the end is they're playing 3-box safety. They're just playing off, trying to hold off, to end the game. So we really can't count a lot of the scores as a nice comeback. Mainly, they're just trying to avoid giving up the big play. So overall, there's a lot of questions, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Defense, no complaints, just playing average to mediocre, which is all you need nowadays in the league if you have a good offense. But unfortunately, we have neither. So
Yeah.
I mean, defense.
Sorry. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, because I was gonna say for the defense, I can only really say but so much because we went in this game knowing Washington was missing 4 defensive ends. So, like, even if there wasn't pressure on Dak, because I don't know because I didn't see most of the game, couldn't really expect too much on that front anyway. So it's like, it is what it is over there.
Yeah. So there's a lot. We're obviously gonna talk about more after giving our initial thoughts, but obviously Noah, undisputed fantasy king, right? But Antonio Gibson is the undisputed fumble king. I'm tired of making excuses for him. Again, this is coming from someone who, and I know, Evan, we talk about my pessimism versus optimism. This is coming from someone who thought Antonio Gibson was going to be an Alvin Kamara type back for us a couple months after the draft in 2020. Obviously, he has the talent. I'm not disputing that. He has the talent. He was leading the NFC in rushing yards, going into this game, right? Or going into this week before the Dalvin Cook blow up spot on Thursday night, I believe. But he has a fumbling issue, man. I've been saying it before he even actually coughed up the ball and teams actually recovered the ball, right? There was a stretch where he just fumbled the ball and Washington ended up recovering it. And this is dating back into last season. But I think there's an issue there, and I can't trust him. I can't trust him. I don't care how much talent you have in the NFL as a running back. If you cannot hold on to the ball, your days are numbered. I'm not saying his days are numbered here in DC right now, but if this continues, for sure. I don't care how many yards you get. That's my number one takeaway from this game. Because we were losing 24-0 at halftime, inexplicable. But we fought our way back into the game, fourth quarter, and we were down by 7. Even before the being down by 7 part, Antonio Gibson coughed up the ball at the end when we started having some momentum. Ultimately, we thought eventually we would lose the game, but then you got Kyle Allen and Washington scoring again, and that was what brought us to 20-27. And Kyle Allen, this is what I want to get to next because this is the main point of discussion right now on Twitter. Was that a fumble or was that a incompletion by Kyle Allen at the end of the game?
I as soon as I saw the play, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna give it to Dallas. But yeah, I thought it was incomplete as well.
I think it was the correct ruling because the thing is, yes, there was a forward motion with the arm, but there's no attempt. So the NFL ruling with a fumble versus incompletion is there has to be a complete motion to throw to a receiver. And the thing is, Kyle Allen was in the middle of a throwing motion, but I don't think he hadn't completed it enough where there was a clear differentiation between he was throwing it to a receiver, there was a clear target, and more of it's a fumble. I know it's a tough calling to make, but the thing is you don't reverse calls if there's not 100% certainty. So as Washington football team fans, of course I wish that wasn't a fumble, but from the NFL rulebook end of things, it was clear that it was. And it was one of those things where, yeah, we can complain about it, but we shouldn't have even been in that situation anyway. So,
okay. And Tone, to answer your question, they're playing right now, I believe. I think Evan referenced that off camera, if not on camera as well. But I think the Niners are playing right now. But yeah, I don't know if you guys see the same picture I'm saying. Abdul and Evan on one side and Noah and I on the other side. But I agree with Noah. I thought it was a fumble. If you see the replay, his arm was starting to go forward, then the ball ended up getting out of his hands before his arm fully went forward. So I personally believe it's a fumble. I know Ed and I talk about that on Twitter, and me saying that I go against everybody else. But honestly, before even checking Twitter, I thought that was the correct call. Like even before they confirmed it and all that, or said it stood. I thought that was a fumble. But moving on from that, I do want to get to some comments here because I don't want to leave the good people out of this. Viper Old DC thought it wasn't a fumble and it was a pass, so he sides with Abdul and Evan on that, which is fair. I mean, it was a tight call, but at the end of the day, they called it a fumble on the field, so I have no complaints with them making sure it stands. Although, let's talk about the refs because there were some bad calls by the refs in the Cowboys' favor throughout the game. What was that pass interference? I think it was earlier in the game. That was a pass interference.
Talking about the second quarter, early in the second quarter.
By William Jackson, right?
I think they actually called that on me. I wasn't even at the stadium.
Yeah, my gosh. And then they called a pass interference on John Bates as well. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I saw that.
The pass interference. Oh my. That was a little bit of Bates, not selling it completely, but come on, man.
I was gonna lose it if it didn't give us the Cam Sims touchdown. I was like,
bro, you saw the tweet?
Yeah, you said that. I was like, bro, like, come on, dude. That
was clearly in. Like his side touched in like 1 millisecond before his I think his knee went out of
and it was over Trevon Diggs too, the so-called
he lost him. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about Trevon Diggs. He is a DMV native. He's from Montgomery County, like his brother Stephon. He locked down Terry today.
He did. I'll admit he did.
Like before, obviously Terry got injured. Locked down Terry, and I hate to say it, I'm wearing his jersey. But
when he got hurt, I thought Taylor had a clear first down of running. I don't know why he decided.
He did.
Yeah,
I was like, you just like set him up for failure, and then
he had a clear first down running. Also, Curtis Samuel was wide open too, and like a yard or two before the first down marker, but there was no defender there, so you could have got it.
Taylor, like he felt like he had to get it all back right then and there. And it's like, bro, I get we down. Officially, that was 3 scores in the third quarter, but like we got plenty of time to score 3 times. Just get the first down and go on to the next play, bro. That was a panic move.
Yeah. Brandon Williams here. So he's a Cowboys fan. He's one of my friends. And we usually don't see eye to eye when it comes to watch the football team, the Dallas Cowboys. But I agree. The Cowboys, they could have won by a lot of points, but their offense is not it, bro. Like I think the only thing on the defense or the team right now that scares me.
Second half, though. They scored 3 points in the second half, bro.
But I think the only thing on that team that scares me right now is the defensive line, right? Like I think the offense was not great today, like whatsoever. Dak Prescott, what was that pick 6, bro?
I was like, what is he looking at? I was so confused.
Why were they throwing like they what? Like
we're talking about the one with the mullet.
Yeah. Cole Holcomb, yeah. I didn't understand that, but I mean that gave us hope, false hope, but that gave us hope.
Mullet went wild.
Yeah. But I do again want to get some more comments.
If I'm a Cowboys fan, this is not a good win. This is it's not.
Yeah,
if you expect to be a Super Bowl caliber team and you play like that or finish like that against the injury riddled team, it's just.
And I believe they played
that right there,
the same way last year.
Is our
last week.
That right there is our gift to Cowboys fans. A game that nobody can feel good about.
Yeah, I feel that.
We win.
Yeah. I don't know. But Tone here brings up the whole Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke. I mean, do you think okay, let's say Taylor Heineke is ready. He's healthy to go, I should say. Do you think that Taylor should be the guy next week?
About this is is in a way similar to Taylor Heineke against Carolina, like some of the shoes on the other foot now. Like Kyle Allen did look good, but let's face it, most of this was in garbage time. So the way I'd approach it right now is if Taylor's good to go, I let him start, but put him on a leash, put him on a thin leash. Like you start messing up, the ball stops moving, you throw like an interception or 2. Kyle Allen comes in. Like that's how I monitor it. Like Taylor, I'm gonna give you the start right now, but you want thin out.
Yeah.
No, Kyle. I think Kyle Allen.
Fire, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, Kyle Allen, we should avoid starting him at all costs. From an analytics perspective, he's an atrocious quarterback. He has an average QB rating of under 80. His career touchdown rating is 21 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. In Carolina, he got a little bit of reputation for winning 1 or 2 games when Cam Newton went down, the end of the Cam Newton era for the first time. I'm not talking about this new era, which gives me even more pain. But Kyle Allen is nothing more than a clipboard holder. I'm sorry if the chat gets mad at me or there's a Kyle Allen's family member in here, but he is a mediocre quarterback. He cannot win you games. So if Taylor Heineke is healthy, even slightly injured, oh, exactly.
No, the second sentence is more so what I'm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Kyle Allen is not a quarterback that you can trust, even for the health of our team. Like I said, from an analytics perspective, he's really bad, and from the eye test, his throws are atrocious. I'm gonna say that they don't set up the receivers for success. A good quarterback, especially when you throw a mid route or short route pass, is it's going to be a hospital pass. So you're going to try to lead the receiver or let them kind of catch it and then secure it so they can go down to the ground. But a couple of those throws in garbage time, man, they're dangerous. They were dangerous throws, and people didn't even see that. And the Eagles' defense, while they're not as ranked as highly analytics-wise as the Cowboys, they're a physical defense. They will go out and hit some heads. And the worst thing that can happen right now is because of our lack of depth is if we lose, Scary Terry for a long-term injury. I know Gibson's the fumble king, but if we got McKissick out with a concussion, we're going to start Jared Patterson. I know I love him. He's a good running back, but that's not a playoff team. You're not going to start a rookie running back, not named James Robinson or Jonathan Taylor, and expect to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Bro, we need J.D. McKissick back ASAP. With Gibson's fumbling issues, Jared Patterson, while yes, he's a solid runner, I like how he finds the holes and runs through them. I like that.
Another thing that JD does is he opens up the screen game for us too, because he's a running back that can also double as a wide receiver. So JD being on the field gives opposing teams a lot to think about that Antonio Gibson doesn't, that Jared Patterson doesn't. That's the biggest reason we need JD McKissick back.
Yep, agreed. Dula, do you have thoughts on this?
I mean, I love Taylor, but if you set your wide receivers up for failure, like what he did and how Terry got hurt, it's just it's hard to trust him. But I still think you start Taylor over Kyle Allen any day of the week.
Okay. I mean, man, it's my contemplation right now is more so because both quarterbacks are not it, bro. They're not it.
Hey, ODU's finest. All right.
Yeah, that's how I feel too, man. Hey, the answer ain't walking through that door until at least April.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Taylor Heineke was never the.
So March or April, the answer ain't.
Oh, connection's going out, Evan.
And my biggest fear now, my biggest long-term fear now is that Pickett's Heisman. Oh wait, no, Pickett didn't win the Heisman. What am I thinking about? Never mind.
Bryce Young, my boy Bryce Young from Bama.
It was Bryce Young.
Yeah.
The top 10 in the draft if he wasn't already. Basically.
Well,
but I still believe Kenny Pickett's the quarterback.
Oh God, I have the troller in here.
No. I was saying this.
It was just a play in a Bengals game. It was a play. It was a play in a Bengals game. My bad.
It's all good, Evan. I think you're cutting in and out. So we don't know if you stop talking and you're getting.
Yeah, I can't really tell either. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hop back on?
Yeah. Basically, I'm still saying Kenny Pickett. I'm still saying who I believe the answer to be, or at least closest for long term, is Kenny Pickett. And I feel even now we're still in a good position to go get him in the draft. Even and we can still go for the. So we ain't really too hurt long term.
Yeah. Okay. So I was saying Farid, is it pronounced Abdullah? Is it pronounced Farid?
Farid.
Farid, okay.
Yeah.
I was saying this since week 2, bro. After the Giants, okay, I shouldn't say that. After maybe the Bills game, I've been saying this Like Taylor Heineke's not the answer, bro. He's not the answer. I'm sorry, but he's not the answer. Like he has some of the same flaws that he had at the beginning of the season. And it's not like a rookie quarterback, right, that we're talking about, where if you see the flaws, right, eventually he's going to outgrow his flaws and, everything will be good and dandy. No. And also although he's getting better at it, he is kind of injury prone, right? Like, I mean, he got out of the game today, and I don't know, man. I personally, again, we're choosing the better of like two pretty bad options, in my opinion. Yeah, that's understood. Yeah, he is. I'm not gonna lie, he is. We're not saying that he shouldn't be on this team. I don't think any of us think that he should not be on this team as at least like a backup quarterback. But as your starter, as the guy that you go to war with every single week trying to fight for an NFC East division crown, I'm not. No. He has the heart, but there's only so much that heart can do, right? Like, talent has to be there, and he just doesn't have that arm talent to be, like a top 10 quarterback in this league, even top 15 in my opinion.
I agree. He's not. I think Taylor is short term, and I see the comments here. Toan mentioned she's not a veteran quarterback. We got Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's tragic, and that's not the answer. We keep plugging.
Yeah.
We keep plugging. We're plugging a bullet wound with a Band-Aid. We need to have a real discussion and realization that we need to get a quarterback in the draft, because the reality is we can hope that a big free agent quarterback comes to us in free agency, but what free agent quarterback on earth would come to the Washington football team, especially in the current state that it's in? We needed the defense to step up. We probably will make the playoffs. We will. But we are not a team that's going to attract an elite free agent quarterback. Heck, even Teddy Bridgewater might not come to the Washington football team this summer. We need to be real and just draft a guy to really develop and build around. I really like what the Miami Dolphins are doing. They were unafraid to do bad, and they're not afraid to continue to struggle. But you saw it recently now. They had a very similar win streak to the Washington football team, but the narrative is so much brighter for the Dolphins. They have Tua, who I truly think can be the next Russell Wilson. They have Jalen Waddle. They have a really young defense, Jalen Phillips. They got a lot of great players. And the Washington football team could have been like that. But we made a couple of bad decisions along the way, so we don't have anyone to lean upon. They're saying Tua, we're saying Taylor. We have Chase Young, we have Scary Terry, we have the pieces. The quarterback is the missing piece, and we need to just be real with ourselves here. We may have to reality tank to get a better, young quarterback and grow with him. But that's something
I
don't think we got to do that.
I don't know about tanking.
I don't think we got to do that this year, bro. The quarterback class ain't exactly that great. So I feel like what we do now is we're in a good position to still draft a Kenny Pickett or what's his name from Liberty,
Malik Willis.
Yeah. Malik Willis. We're in good position to draft somebody like him. So I feel like just keep doing what we're doing, finish out the playoff race, and really, as far as the long-term answer situation, really, when you think about it, the worst thing we could do is make a deep playoff run, because that would take us out of possibility to draft Pickett and the other guys. Really,
bro,
so really, it's a win-win from here.
I mean, you started by saying this. I don't believe in any of these quarterbacks in the draft. I think if we're gonna get the quarterback that's gonna be here for the foreseeable future, we have to go after a big fish in the free agent market or via trade. I mean, I don't know, man. Deshaun Watson, if things clear up. If that's a big if things clear up, that's a big if, like a gigantic if. But Aaron Rodgers, I still think that possibility is real. I think this might be his last year in Green Bay, even if they do win it all. I just don't think he's been satisfied over his entire career, really. And then, potentially, I heard Derek Carr rumors floating about. I don't know, man. See that's why I don't think tanking is two things. One, we're in the playoff race. We're the 6th seed in the wild card, 7th seed in the wild card, maybe after this week.
What
was that?
like I said, from here it's kind of too late to tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's December and we have a playoff spot. It's too late for all that tanking stuff.
But also
Like
my second,
we've already made up our mind on this one.
yeah. But also my second point was that there's nobody that great at the top of the draft class that you could take at quarterback
Mhm.
that will be a stud. But I do want to get to two other things. One was something that Dave and DC mentioned a little bit earlier, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe a couple other people. But it was the drop by our boy DeAndre Carter at the end
That
of
was
the game.
big. That was
You
big.
guys have thoughts on that one where he was, I mean, it went right through his hands. It went right through his hands. Would have been a big
That's
gain.
one you
We were
got to
down by
catch.
7 at that point. What was that, Evan?
That's one you got to catch. And he had multiple chances too because he tried to pin that against his leg at the end. He had multiple chances.
It
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Like when we got the pick 6, I was like, no way, we might actually come. And then the extra point got blocked, and I was like, back to reality.
I think with the Carter situation, it's just, like I said, I think Nati and I were talking about it via text, and I said he reminded me a lot of Andre Roberts.
Mhm.
He's a good return man that has flashes of, being a decent deep threat receiver. But that just shows, again, like this ties back to my point that we don't have great depth. We can be mad at Carter for not catching that, and he should have caught that. But you're putting like your punt returner, kick returner in the game-winning situation is not something you want to do. So we got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, he's not scary Terry.
Like with grain of salt, because he wouldn't have been running that route if Terry wasn't hurt. So like, yeah, grain of salt.
Exactly. Like if we had Curtis Samuel healthy, we had more depth that we can trust someone to go deep with that. But we can't expect a miracle every time. We've had a lot of close games in this winning streak before this happened, where we had some very fortunate plays. And you can play that game all you want, but eventually it won't come through. It's just a clear, obvious situation that we just didn't have the depth to make those plays. So I can't blame Carter for that. He's our punt return, kick return guy. He's not he's not Tyreek Hill. He's not going to do everything. So it's something that was disappointing, but it's almost it's expected. You can't run run all the way forever. So
yeah, I'm not Dave and DC. I'm not saying this isn't going to happen. Like maybe it might happen. I'm just saying like whether I would be like happy about it, whether I'd be ecstatic, that about our future if we end up drafting one of these quarterbacks in the first round. Because right now I don't like any of them, to be honest with you. And I said that even going into this college football season. But the next thing I want to get into, and I think this is my first tweet from today. Man, Micah Parsons is exactly what we thought we were gonna get out of Chase Young, bro. It's just like there's just two things that are devastating in that statement. Like Chase Young is not, in my opinion, he was not living up to the hype before his injury. And two, Micah Parsons is, and we got to play him twice a year for I don't know how many years. So like both of those things just make me super upset. But what are you guys' thoughts on Micah Parsons?
I was gonna lose my mind if he got an interception because this man was in the backfield and then he's in coverage and then I was like, bro, what can't this man do? It was insane. But going back to like him like playing him twice a year, it kind of brings me back to the days where I used to hate Des Bryant because we played him twice a year. But now it's the defense side of the ball when it comes to Micah. Micah Parsons is just the dog, man. I mean, there's really nothing much else to say about him. I honestly think he's a prime candidate for defensive player of the year, not even just defensive rookie of the year. And he's rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll agree with that. I think that's the thing. I'm sorry to say, but when I said that Chase Young has a high chance of being a Jadeveon Clowney last year, everybody laughed at me, but I'm saying that he was very overhyped. He's more of a run stopper. He's not that do-it-all type of guy. And, I think Chase Young's realistically a Jadeveon Clowney. He's not a DeMarcus Ware that everyone's projecting him to be like DeMarcus Ware, and I'm saying that the fan base was getting way out of hand. He had a good year last year, but again, he's more of a traditional 4-3 run-stopping D-end. He's not a do-it-all guy. He can be a Pro Bowler. He can be an All-Pro at what he does. But, yeah, man, Micah Parsons, I think Micah Parsons is going to be – he's going to be up there with a couple other people. I think Davis from the Bears as well. not our Davis, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I think Roquan Smith is another
Mhm.
guy. Like those guys make plays, and we need a linebacker. I see Tawan Jamin Davis. I don't know if he's a bust. Way too early to say that, but that just shows you that you need a linebacker that can do it all. We try to make Chase Young a linebacker, but like I said, he's a Jadeveon Clowney. He's not a 3-4, can do it all, unlike Micah Parsons. But yeah, after I saw the Chiefs game where he got 3.5 sacks, I was like, oh my, put him in our uniform. Let's trade him right now. Let's get him. Somebody do something to get him on our team.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts, Evan?
he's great. He's great. Micah Parsons, he's great. Cowboys had a home run on that play on that draft, and they should really feel proud of themselves for that. But really, I feel like Chase Young is at the point, and Micah's going to get there in a minute too, where after your rookie season, the league kind of starts to figure you out, and when that happens, it's on you to make the adjustments. And make the adjustments so you can stay in the league long term. Now, this reality hit Chase like a ton of bricks this year, but I feel like he'll bounce back and he'll make the adjustments because, like he just seems like the type of person to do that. So, but Micah, I really feel like Micah's gonna be a problem like for at least a decade in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Hate that, but to kind of like counter on that point though, Evan, like Chase Young, I know everybody, saw the 49ers fumble recovery for a touchdown. Like he did not show what Micah Parsons is showing this year. I think very few
I agree.
rookies have ever shown what Micah Parsons is showing this year. And also Chase Young didn't even have a high sack total last year, right? Like he won defensive rookie of the year, but he had 7.5 sacks. And he had a lot of pressure.
Sacks ain't the only number that matters.
I know. I'm just saying, like that kind of goes towards Noah's point in saying that he might not be that pass rusher that's going to get you double-digit sacks, right? A lot of people projected that he would get double-digit sacks this year, but like maybe he's not going to ever be that guy. Maybe he's going to be the guy that like gets maybe 8 or 9 sacks a season, but like maybe is very good in run defense, maybe top of the league in run defense, right? At the defensive end position. Maybe he might be that. But yeah, man, it's just frustrating to see Micah Parsons, bro. Like this is the first Cowboys game that I think I've seen like in its entirety. I did see the Thanksgiving game, but like fully seen its entirety, analyze it, and Micah Parsons, bro, like what 13th overall. But he's not a great character. Like he's not a great. That's the thing.
That was the problem with him at Penn State, right? The character issue.
Yes. Yeah. Like if you go look up the stories, guys. Like,
and that's the issue I have with the whole character issue thing. Because like on the one hand, with Micah, it could be like he has like a little bit of an ego. Something that's manageable, something that you can like work, something that you can work with. Like something you can work with, or Evan. It could be something completely different, like Darius Geis. Because remember, they said Darius Geis had character issues too.
No, Evan. It's not ego for Michael Parsons. Look up the stories, bro. It's not just ego. There's some like
there was some red flags for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're performing like that, Jerry Jones doesn't care what you are on. As long as you're playing on the field.
How many of his players, bro? Yeah. I mean, he has 2 of them at the defensive end position right now, kind of. Well, I mean, Randy Gregory's mostly like drugs and stuff, like addiction, but like.
Well, they had Aldon Smith too, but.
Yep, true. Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that I know it's just talked about a lot, but it annoys me so much how there's so many Cowboys fans in the DMV, and I've seen that many. And I understand like we don't show up to games because the product on the field, but it's just so annoying seeing the Cowboys calling our stadium Dallas 2.0. It's just so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean that's just. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, sorry.
I mean that just shows that a good franchise pieces it all together. They have a strong relationship with the community. They have a strong front office, strong team, strong coaching, and that's the thing, man. The fact that
say the Cowboys have been a good franchise lately.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, in terms of like, okay, I was about to say in terms of staying relevant, but they're always going to stay relevant because they are America's team, and like they market themselves like that. But like, I feel like in terms of if we're comparing the Washington football team to the Dallas Cowboys, like even for all the hate they've gotten for being 8-8,
I mean, even
like
as low as the bar
9-7,
is, though,
10-6, that's still
even
winning
as low as
records.
the bar
like-
is, they haven't been that much better than us recently.
No, I disagree with that
Even as
statement.
low as
Sorry.
that bar
I
is.
disagree with that statement. Minus last year, I disagree with that
How many
statement.
playoff games have they won in the last 10 years? Versus how many
It's not
we
just
won?
about playoff games, bro. It's about being competitive late in December. How many times have the Cowboys been competitive late in December in our lifetimes compared to the Washington football team or Redskins back then? Like, I just that's my thing. Like, I get it. You're completely right with that take, like about the playoff wins and all that, even the Super Bowl wins, obviously. But I just think I don't know. I feel like they've been more competitive. I guess.
I agree
is
with
the
you.
word I'm using. Yeah.
It's
Because
like,
the thing is,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
but like for the Cowboys, the 8-8 jokes have a basis of a little bit of saltiness from other fan bases because that's like at least they're competing. For us, we have stooped to the absolute lows. We've reached the highs. We've destroyed our franchise quarterback. We've destroyed our franchise running back, and it's one of those things where we are so inconsistent. You know, I'll give that to the Cowboys franchise. They've been mediocre or good. They've never been rock bottom in this past decade.
minus last year, but like
There's a lot of reasons. There's Dak with
overall.
Dak out and stuff. That was a little bit
Yeah.
understandable, but we've had a fully healthy squad in times, and we've been in the garbage. So,
And
it's,
even last year we were
painful.
7-9. Like that just goes to your point. Like we were 7-9 and we were, hyping ourselves up. I mean, I'm saying like we won the division, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a big thing. But like I'm just saying, when you think of the record, 7-9, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I think Jamin Davis was a project that we drafted in the first round, which is a little problematic there. But I mean, I think he's gonna get there. I think he's gonna get to being at least a solid linebacker for us. He does make some mistakes now, but he also has some flash plays for sure. Some nice tackle for losses. And he's definitely stopped a lot of third down and fourth down conversions. I don't know if you guys have noticed over the last couple of weeks, but sometimes gets lost in coverage. Like, you take the good with the bad with him right now. But I want to ask you one last question, guys. Evan kind of touched on this with his initial comments, but what are your thoughts on this team going forward? Rest of the season, I believe we have 4 games left, if I'm not mistaken. And NFC playoff race. Obviously, I think we all agree the division that's done for. I think the Cowboys gonna win it. But wild card, do you think Washington's gonna secure a spot by the end of the season?
I think so, and I going back, like I don't think we should tank, and I feel like we could get that 7th seed if we just keep on fighting, and we probably will get hopefully some guys back, And I want to touch on something that like a little off topic, but you brought it up, and Nolly, you hit it right out of the park. You said at the beginning of the year that if Chase Young and Montez Sweat are out, there's no depth, and this is just showing at that position.
I wasn't the only one. I think you guys.
It
were
wasn't
saying
even
too,
just
like,
Chase and Montez. The backups were hurt. Backups had COVID. It wasn't even just Chase and Montez, bro.
I saw some dudes where I don't even know who those people were, to be honest.
And also, Abdullah, though, I think what you're trying to also get at is that it wasn't just
their name a day in my life, bro.
Yeah.
I was expecting my name to pop up on the injury list in a minute.
Yeah, I don't know, but Abdullah, I think what you were also
Evan Johnson tore his ACL. Oh damn! I needed that.
Yeah.
Just look at my leg going. That's why my leg was hurting.
Yeah. What I was trying to get at though, like, or what I think Abdullah was trying to get at by referencing me was that I also mentioned that it was going to be a problem because both of the players are unvaccinated. And obviously Chase Young went down with the season-ending injury, so we didn't really have to didn't become a problem. But with Montez Sweat, it became a problem because COVID has become more transmissible. And I'm just saying, it sucks that it had to happen after the 4 games too that he already missed. But hopefully we can get him back soon because he is a beast and would help our defensive end situation mightily. But so we heard from Abdullah, right, in terms of his stance. Noah, what is your thoughts on playoffs?
Yeah, so my thoughts are it's a mixed bag. One thing I want to start out with is that the comments do make a good point about Davis. We do have to be patient. One really good sign is Rivera says that he reminds him of another Davis, Thomas Davis, multi-time Pro Bowler for the Panthers. Very similar to Davis, had a slow start to his career. A lot of people were calling a bust really early on, but developed into a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of inside linebacker hybrid. So we have a lot of goods on that team. You know, I list Jamin Davis. I really think it's going to be a bright spot on that defense. Montez Sweat. We have a lot of young players on the offense. Obviously, we have Scary Terry, Gibson. But the thing is, you know, it's a lot of okay. And that's the thing about this season, the outlook for the rest of the season. It's a lot of interdivisional battles. And what really worries me is that our playbook doesn't change week to week. A good offensive team adapts, especially when they play their divisional rivals. That's why you see a lot of times the Niners, you know, unfortunately, I hope they lose today, but the Niners can adapt. You know, they have a power run scheme
now, by the way.
They're up, you said?
Up 17-6. They about to go to halftime.
Exactly what I'm saying. They are able to adapt to their competition, particularly within their division. You saw,
It's
you
more
know,
like the Bengals are bangling, though.
The Bengals
The
are
Bengals
7-5.
are straight up bangling.
The Bungles.
The Bungles, but the Niners can, you know, even if they lose the Seahawks or the Rams, they make it competitive. They send a message to the division, and like that just show you the perception. The Cowboys had the balls to say this was a free win. The Eagles and Giants have nothing but boldness from themselves. But you go to like I said, you go to the 49ers division, they take that matchup seriously. The Rams take it seriously. The Chargers take it seriously. We have a huge problem in the overall culture of our organization. Regardless of how we finish, we are seen as a stepping stone in our own division. So we need to really reevaluate a couple of things. We brought in a new organization. I know it takes a couple years for that culture to change, but that's not a good sign that the Cowboys have the balls to say it's a free win. They don't. That's the thing. You know, I know it's like friendly trash talk, but if they really were scared of our team, they would not have said anything. Because when was the last time you saw the Seahawks said anything about the 49ers or even the Rams? Because even when they were atrocious, they said nothing because they knew that that organization would fuel their fire, and they would come out swinging with a whole new playbook, whole new different type of play style, and have the players to adapt. So, regardless of how we do and finish the season, there's a lot of questions from the culture of the organization that we need to develop. Because forget about the players. We have the players. We've always had the players. But we've never taken the next step as an organization to become feared in our division. You know, it hasn't been really since 2012, since our own divisional rival said, we don't like they mark the schedule and they're worried about playing us. It doesn't matter, you know, if we win or not. It's a problem with the culture in this organization, and it's got to be dealt with. And unfortunately for us fans, or even for people that are players themselves, it's really hard to address because it's something so holistic. But regardless how the season finishes, it's going to be, you know, a huge red flag that we have to address for the years to come.
Want to shout out Cade because I think Cade is the second Cowboys fan that was in our chat during this stream and made some good points before. I'm sorry we couldn't get to them on our way out, but are we progressing? I mean, we watched this team every single week.
Yeah, progressing is kind of.
I don't know about yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever progressing. He was just. I mean, he was a little progressing in terms of decision making, but like, you know, it was off and on. I don't know, but
I mean, it really was. But honestly, going back to your question of do I think Washington's going to make the playoffs? I say yes, because for two reasons. Number one, the schedule from here on out isn't exactly that tough. I mean, you got the Giants, you got 2 games with the Eagles, and you got Dallas. I'd say at least 3 of those are winnable games. And that's number one. And number two, you got to look at who we're competing against for these last playoff spots. You got the Niners, who are a really good team when healthy, like when fully healthy. But the main reason they're this far down is they're not fully healthy. And then you got an Eagles team who's Well, the best way I have the Eagles is they're inconsistent, but they're young. So it's like you could see why they're inconsistent. Like they're a young team with a bright future. And then there's the Vikings, the team that
Good
lost
old
to the
Kirk.
Lions and almost blew a 29-point lead to the Steelers. This is our competition. So
One of
it's
the
like,
most
yeah,
overrated quarterbacks.
I feel like if nothing else, I don't think Washington could really realistically be worse than two of those teams from here on out, and that's what would need to happen in order for us to miss the playoffs.
But before we leave, the two positive things, Cam Sims, what a catch over Trevon Diggs. I don't think we talked about it enough. Oh my goodness,
my
I've
boy.
been waiting for this man to get the ball more. And Landon Collins, I really think he turned the corner. Like as soon as the whole fan base was calling for his name, and
That's
he's
all
been
we
balling
needed.
ever since then.
Yeah. Since that linebacker change that he was reluctant to make, I agree with you. Corey, I'm Steven, bro. We're all pissed right now, but I think a little less pissed that they actually showed some fight
Yes.
towards that end of the game, man. I thought we were gonna rant, bro, when it was like 24-0 and stuff. But no, they made it a game. At the end, last 4 minutes, especially the last 2 minutes, or 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, they made it a game. They gave us actually a chance, a hope of winning this game. Even the broadcasters were already preparing for next week. Yeah, like, so I think you got to give the team that. Got to give Ron Rivera at least some of that as well.
And
But yeah, my thoughts.
if nothing else, in the comments, think of it this way: we lost, but it was in a way where even Cowboys fans can't feel good about this win. That is our gift to the football world. Even in defeat, we win, baby.
Yep. Agreed.
We out
my
here
last
playing
point.
5-dimensional chess out here.
Yeah. But in terms of like my thoughts on this, it's tough because there are so many NFC teams fighting for that last division spot or conference spot. But I think Washington should right now. Right, you're asking me right now after the Dallas Cowboys lost. I think we should still be able to secure maybe the 7th spot in the NFC. I just think our NFC record right now is pretty good. I think we're 5-2, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
3. We're
5-3 now. 5-3, yeah. But we did beat the Falcons, right? We did beat the Panthers, who are right now, I think, still competing for the 7th spot.
Yeah, Carolina is I want to say a game behind us.
Yeah, so
they lost today though. They lost to the Falcons, so that's gonna hurt them.
Yeah,
the Falcons are in it. The Falcons are in it too, though.
6-7, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan, but yeah. So I think we should be able to. But again, things can change, bro. This is the NFL. Just like this game, things can change. We were down 24-0 1 minute, and then it was 20-27 at the end, right? Even the announcers were like, things can change in the NFL, and that fast too. But
I mean, yeah, but this might blow up spectacularly in my face. I do not and cannot ever trust the Vikings. So if nothing else, we're good as a 7.
You got to knock on some wood right there, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this: I can't trust Kirk Cousins. I don't know about the Vikings though. Overall, like I know he's the quarterback, but you never know. Their defense could carry him 1 week, right? All of a sudden, their defense or their running game, Dalvin Cook, I think ran for over 200 yards on Thursday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro, I'm pretty sure we could have ran over to it with those holes they were giving him. Oh my goodness,
true. That's true. That's true. But he's still top flight running back when healthy.
He is top 3.
But that being said, we're gonna head out because we're not trying to make this over an hour, given that we want to give you guys back your time, and also we just lost. So with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel. Or like to post fire content like this. Also go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, our Instagram page all lowercase DMV Sports Zone. Got 3 of the greatest content creators on the channel: Duel, Evan, Noah, and then you got me.
Oh, the humble coming up there.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys all for the comments. I'm sorry that we couldn't get to every single one of them, but we hope we mentioned everyone. Let me just do that now. Fareed again, Sophie, Tone, David DC, of course, Viper Old DC at the very beginning, Brandon Williams, the second Cowboys fan that we had, and Corey from On the Warpath, Cade McDonald at the very end. And I think that's and Skins fan all day as well. Thank you guys all for joining. It was a fun one. And yeah. On to next week against Philly. Peace out.